this album, Bang, recorded 14 years after the previous one, but I guess it didn't take 14 years to record it, right? It was quite much shorter period.
No, again, Robert, uh, Sweet Savage, bad luck. So Trevor Fleming was one of the founding members of Sweet Savage. So Trevor Fleming, Vivian Campbell, and myself were the kind of founding members. And Trevor, Trevor died, after we did the last record. So Trevor died. Him and I, not only were we bandmates, but Trevor lived. Trevor lived about 2 miles, whatever, 3 kilometers from my house. So we were best friends. He died, and I was like, do I even want to carry on? Do I want to do this? I don't seem to be making any progress. I take a lot of time out to do this, and now Trevor's gone. So my partner in crime, my guy that the two of us sat together and wrote songs, and we wrote so many songs and threw them away, never used them, but he was a big part of my life, and on all fronts, socially and musically, everywhere. And that was that. And then the drummer we had at the time, he died as well. And I thought, that's it. I'm done. Stuff it. Having time. I play in other bands, Robert, for fun. I have a great rock and roll band called the Red Hot Roosters. We gig all over Ireland, some stuff in the UK. It's mainly biker bashes and sort of little festivals like that. So I was getting the fun out of playing music because I love playing live. So I'm thinking, do I need all this grief and stress of trying to write another record, rehearsing it, doing whatever, going, begging with record labels to get money to do it and all this stuff? So it was kind of in my head that I'll probably not ever do another one. And I kind of got my head around it that wasn't going to happen. And I've been working with Simon McBride on other projects, and Simon said to me, would you ever consider doing another Sweet Savage record? And I said, I don't know, what are you thinking? He said, well, why don't you and I do it? Because we did the Killing Time one together. We did the Rune one together. Why would we not do another one? So him and I started fiddling around with songs, and Simon has a studio in his house. So, whenever he wasn't using it for the Simon McBride band, Simon and I would get together at weekends, one night a week, maybe once every couple of months, stick down some ideas. And we thought, these ideas are okay. They're not bad. So that's why it took so long to get from Regeneration to Bang. It didn't take 14 years to write it, but it took a long time to sort of think, whenever, and I don't want to sound melodramatic. I don't want to say like I was walking around crying every day, but whenever the shock of Trevor dying and then Julian dying, whenever it kind of passed, it was kind of like, yeah, okay, but yeah, let's do it. Maybe a bit of fun. Why not anyway? Why not keep it going? Trevor would have wanted to keep going. It's part of his legacy that we keep it going. So the album was written over a long period of time, Robert, as in because we did it in bits and pieces. And then finally, when we had all the sort of rough demos, then Simon and I decided that we would record it. And then we're all ready to go. And then Simon gets a job at Deep Purple. And it's like, oh man, is this record ever going to come out? So now we've got to the point that the record has come out. And I think it's probably the best thing I've ever done. I think the quality of the songs, I think the melodies, I think it's a great transition for Sweet Savage. We didn't get stuck. We're not stuck in the 80s. We're not trying to reproduce what we did in the 80s. We feel that, or Simon and I felt when he was going to be part of the project on a full-time level, we felt if we're going to do something, we need to do something differently. It has to be a progression. It has to be like that we've moved on because, the rock and metal audience has also become younger. I mean, looking at you, Robert, I don't think, you were banging your head in the early 80s. So it's written for a younger, it's not written for it, but it's written with, a younger audience in mind as well as, and, again, my humble opinion, I feel that we did a good job because if you strip back the modern sounds, it's basically old riffs. it's Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin. You know, it's riffs with magic dust poured on top, mad sounds, modern guitar sounds, a few sequences. There's a lot of the sounds on it. People are asking me, it's the first time you've used keyboards. No keyboards on it. It's Simon taking guitar pedals to the extreme, you know, because, I mean, you've heard him play. He is a genius. He's also a musical genius, incredible drummer. So I think that the Bang album with the old style riffs, and which is the foundation of each song, and then the modern sounds on top, to me, I personally feel it's my best work ever. I love it. I love it. I think it's a record full of good songs.
And
Yeah.
Simon, of course, now is busy with Deep Purple, but do you think he could like manage to connect his schedules and play with you live?
The short answer, Robert, is no, I don't, because I think. Listen, I mean, I speak to Simon all the time. I've you know, the whole way he's been with Deep Purple, I speak to Simon every couple of weeks, because not only we're guitar players, we're really old friends. We've been together a long time, playing in different bands and doing different projects. So I speak to him a lot. Listening to what Simon's saying, I think Deep Purple is going to hit the road on the 1st of January and finish on the 31st of December next year. I mean, they sound like they're going to be busy boys. So I think I'm actually meeting Simon this week to talk about, okay, Sims, anyone you would recommend, because we need to get another guitar player, because, you know, Sweet Savage has always been a 4-piece, 2 guitar players. At the minute, we've just got Phil. Phil Edgar's been with us now. Phil's been with us about 11 years, or maybe slightly longer. In fact, longer. So, you know, Phil and I were together on Thursday because we're going to start rehearsals, because we're going to start off with an Irish tour. So Phil and I were talking and was saying, yeah, it's going to be, we need to get the right person, because it's not only you need to get a good guitar player, you need to get somebody with the right personality that, you know, we can all get on and have fun together. So I'm going to speak to Simon as well, because I don't think Simon might be able to do something with us this year. We're going to do an Irish tour or something like that, but certainly next year he's going to be so busy. You know, I think any free time that he has, he's definitely going to want to be flying back to Ireland to see his family. So he's not going to be interested in going out on the road with us. So I'll have to get so Robert, if you know any guitar players in Poland that want to join a heavy metal band in Belfast,